Good morning. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Providence, where we love beyond belief. Holy Family is our annual celebration of all the goodness that comes with loving families that come in so many forms, all of them full of promise and blessing. This morning is dedicated to all our families, in all their forms and peculiarities and complexities, and the love that makes our families family. This is the day that we have been given. May we make the very most of it starting now together.
Hello, I am not Cynthia Rosengard. I am Kathy Sagal. Cynthia is home with a sniffle that is not COVID. So I will light our chalice today with our amazing membership coordinator, Jen Nardone. We light this chalice flame as a symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith community. Now join in the words printed in your order of service if you have it. This light also burns in our hearts. It lights our path toward harmony, justice, and hope for all.
Though I was raised in an interfaith family, in my youth it was more impactful that I grew up in an extended family. Elders were everywhere, with all their wisdom and idiosyncrasies. The grandfather who taught how to slice and core an apple, who pointed out how beautiful those tiny apple seeds are, like teardrops of wood at the very center, who laid them out in a line on the table as we ate the sweet fruit together. The grandmother who showed her love in food and rarely words, rarely even kindness, but you knew she loved you. In fact, she loved me best, mixed blessing though that was. The other grandmother, the one with the artificial leg, with a tidy laced up black shoe and nylons on it, just like her real leg, the good one. She was stern and unloving, but she had dignity and a kind of power even, especially in her hardship. The great aunts who loved on and doted on and smothered and freaked us out slightly, but we knew they had lives and stories of their own, and we wished we had known them before they became so strange. For the peculiar relatives and the magical ones, for all those families who defied description and category and elements on a census, for the ones we miss every day and always will, for the ones we give thanks for every day and always will. This is the day we have been given, and we are glad to celebrate our families together. Which brings us, of course, to our church family and making the most of this day together as we have our time of greeting. We've got a few folks in the meeting house who are sharing their Holy Family stories today, and some wonderful music makers as well. So everybody, all the many of us that are here, can we stand and turn towards the cameras that are over there and wave and send our greetings to the people who are at home. We miss you. We've got our fingers crossed that next week we'll be back in person if the numbers keep going the way they have and stay in person. And we hope you're waving back and sending all your greetings to us. We can't wait to be together in body as well as in spirit.
For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift, which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain, and loss, for each new thing we learn, for fearful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift, which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad.
This is our time to share joys and sorrows moving through our congregational family in our own lives and hearts and minds. We have a candle of healing for Dave Lewis, who is now in rehab, recovering from back surgery. A candle of healing for Lynn Fozzie, who is also in rehab, recovering from a fall. A candle of wellness and hope for Graham Nye, who has returned home and is now in hospice care. A candle of sympathy and love for Joyce Buber, whose father died last Saturday. and our time for meditation and contemplation and prayer. Our words this morning are a piece called Carried Up to Bed that I wrote many years ago. We have a time of silence after that for personal reflection and prayer. During that time of silence, if you have lost someone close to you in the past year, we invite you to stand at home or raise your hand, also here, of course, in witness of that loss. And then we close with a musical refrain. Wouldn't we all wish to be carried up to bed one more time? So dependent, so confident and cared for in that particular way for all the right reasons. We are not ill, nor hurt, nor helpless. We are simply small and tender and tired. How long have parents carried their children to bed? Have children enjoyed that passive bliss? There we lie, half asleep already, in a car or on a sofa after a late night. We could be roused, but our eyes are closed. We are less asleep than we look, more asleep than we feel. Our parent comes to fetch us up to bed and slides a strong, quiet arm under our shoulders and neck, another under our knees, and hoists us up to be carried up to our room, our waiting sheets. We sleepily turn toward them, maybe hike an arm loosely over their shoulder, around their neck, hang on just a bit. We feel them walking down the hall or stepping up the stairs and then nudging open the door to our room, walking across the floor of the dark, familiar space. We know where we are without even opening our eyes. We feel them pause by the bed to get a firmer grip and then lean over and lay us down, pulling the sheets down to fold our legs in, pulling the sheets up to tuck us in. Would that I had known that last time for what it was. Now it is my task to do the tender carry, the kiss and caress across the face before leaving the room. That is precious too. But children know the date-stamped preciousness of being carried up to bed for what it is and nestle into its warmth. Years will pass, and we will still feel small and tender and tired, and this gift will likewise have passed, gone to others, to our own and others' children, and we will each of us have then only the memory and the charge to carry on tradition, the sweet burden, the carrying of another.
Hello again. I am so very honored to be with you for First U Providence's Holy Family Service. We celebrate diverse family patterns and their unique beauty. I introduced the first of these worship experiences 21 years ago. And it's a joy, particularly for me again in my last year as your religious educator, to introduce and connect more families. What an opportunity we have in this extraordinary time to listen with love and care to even a few family stories and add them to our congregational narrative. Family is just one way to define a unit of beings in our society. Sometimes it's where we long to be at home, a place where we count on sharing whatever food is on the table, and where someone might even laugh at our jokes. Family can be the center to which we return, whether deserved or not. When some of us imagine family, we feel anxiety or anger or longing. For others, it can be a sense of happiness. And for most of us, there are a combination of emotions. Families of origin or birth are not always the families where we are most at peace. We come from them, but we go out into the world to form families of our own. In my life, our next-door neighbors have named us family by choice. I also have one dear sibling who knit me this beautiful scarf that looks like blueberries. Of course, our vision of family often evolves. In one lifetime, we may become part of several different families: a single-person family with or without a pet, a couple, married or not, with children or not. This morning, we focus on what our families might have to share, not only on what is missing. Certainly, family life is full of transitions: birth, health, illness, death, relocation, partnership, separation, career ups and downs, school changes, grieving, new friendships, and more. And we are rarely taught that it won't necessarily be easy. We may learn as we go, particularly that support from others can really help. Resilience, patience, most of all, love. This morning, we keep in our hearts families not with us today, those who wish to be together but are separated by pandemic, geography, or other circumstances, including immigration injustice, like some asylum seekers waiting to be welcomed. But back to our family stories today. In a healthy, lifelong learning, supportive religious community, we have the responsibility and the privilege to acknowledge and affirm each other's lives, to know each other's stories. We promise to search for meaning in all seasons and cycles together. We promise that every family formed with love and commitment deserves nurture and respect, that each is a sacred circle intersecting with others. There's only time to lift up a few family units today. But first, children of all ages, wherever you are, if you have family of any kind, listen carefully to these stories. Try to think about your own family and what makes it special. The three of our families will generously share a piece of their narrative, and in between, our talented musicians, Christy Martell and Jeff Allard, will share a verse of a beautiful song, There Is a Love, composed by UU music leader Elizabeth Norton with words from Reverend Dr. Rebecca Parker. After all have shared, I will lead us in a unison blessing that will be put on your screen. And now, 2022, Holy Families.
Hi, I'm Colin Murray.
Hi everyone, I'm Dana Borelli Murray. We're so happy to be here with you today. So, to me, family was big and loud, food, ancestor worship, music, storytelling, usually the same stories over and over and over again. Family is Rhode Island, Providence, Italian people, backyard gardens, grape arbors. My immediate family, my parents and my siblings, our suburban raised ranch with wall-to-wall carpeting on a cul-de-sac, lip sync contests, and catching frogs.
I'll just say that the first time I went to a Borelli family event with Dana, I had a headache from the dozens of conversations that were bouncing across the room at the same time.
We met working downtown at neighboring restaurant bars, his smile and his laugh and wink. It was a story I wanted to read. So over time, he became my family.
When we started dating, Dana was at the time interested in adopting a dog, which is all well and good, but with my severe allergies, this was an activity she was going to be doing alone. I think I was pretty cut and dried.
Yeah, you said, no dogs. Kids, yes. Dogs, no way.
It was a no-brainer.
I gave it some serious consideration, but I ultimately chose Colin, and now we've been married for 10 years, and we have a house full of kids. Good Lord.
Scout and Declan came first, biologically. Then we revisited conversations that we had had much earlier in our relationship about different ways to continue to grow the family.
Colin came home one day with an informational packet about foster care. He put it in front of me at dinner, telling me he had attended an info session. I was so moved by this initiative. Also, I've never met an adventure that I didn't want to lead, so we jumped right into the deep end, took our 30-hour licensing class, home visits and studies, interviews, and family letters of reference.
And 46 new windows. 46. No more lead paint.
The ink was still wet on our license when the call came in. They called Colin, knowing that he has no backbone and wouldn't ask any questions, would just say yes. So he calls me at work and says, I got a call. There's a newborn. They need emergency placement for him. I was at work. I screamed and said, of course, when is this happening?
They called back 10 minutes later and said he'd be there within the hour.
So that's how baby A came to us. That was 3 years ago.
It looks like baby A was going to be reunified with his birth parents at many points over the last few years. At one point, I suggested we open up our home to another child, with the thought that this would help the transition time when baby A was leaving. So when we received a call 3 days before Christmas of 2019 for a 3-year-old girl, we did not hesitate.
But then baby A is still here, and baby B, and Scout and Declan. That's the Murray party of 6. People see us coming a mile away.
People hear us coming a mile away.
These days, things are just loud, all the time. I can't hear myself think, which is probably a good thing, because to be honest, thinking too much leads me to stress about the unknowing, the roller coaster of the child welfare system, and trying to mitigate the conflicting thoughts I have. As a white person, an anti-racist, but knowing that my lived experience is so different than that of my children of color, knowing that the system is broken and so many systems of inequity and injustice led to their placements, loving my children, but also knowing that I share them with birth families, with their own rich backgrounds of stories and history, that we are still very much playing a role as a babysitter for the state, holding it all in balance. These days, our family also includes the growing and changing relationships with birth families, caseworkers, and our network of friends and allies.
We hope our kids will look back and look past the chaos and confusion and instead focus on the adventure of it all, the sharing and empathy and understanding that they show each other, kindness and helping. The sign that reads, "This kitchen is for dancing." When we asked Scout about becoming foster parents, she was about 6 or so at the time, and we said that sometimes mommies and daddies need help, and we have the room in our house and our heart to help other families. She just got it. And to this day, she asks occasionally when we will be helping another family and having more kids move in.
But the inn is full, right?
Most definitely.
Greetings, I am Robert O. Jones. When Kathy asked me to do this, I started thinking about what is a family? Is a family people who live together? Well, I live alone, so does that mean I'm a family of one or that I have no family? My situation doesn't tell the whole story, though. Does tell the whole story, though. There are many types of families, and I have been part of several different ones. I'm part of my birth family, mother, father, and 2 younger brothers, nucleus of a larger family which included paternal and maternal grandparents, my aunts, uncles, and cousins. Of the cousins, including me, there are 7 on my mother's side and 12 on my father's side. Most of my family lives in Rhode Island, so we were able to get together quite regularly. Weekends included visits with grandparents, also including aunts, uncles, and cousins. We would all get together on holidays, Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, 4th of July. Holidays could also include great uncles and great aunts, my paternal grandfather's brother and surviving sister. My maternal grandmother had a sister who we would see from time to time, and my father grew up with her children, his cousins. My maternal grandmother had a sister who lived in New Jersey. She would come to visit us from time to time. At one point, one of my aunts decided to have a family reunion. That included my paternal grandmother, her sister, and some of their descendants. The group was about 30, maybe a little more. It wouldn't be my talk if I didn't include a little history. Going further, my paternal grandmother's maternal grandfather was a Union volunteer in the Civil War. After the war, he got married and had at least 11 children. His father died 18 days short of his 101st birthday in 1910. A newspaper article written about him at the time noted he was the father of 8, grandfather of 36, and great-grandfather of 27. All considered, I have a rather big extended family, though I certainly don't see all these people, and I don't even know most of them. Of course, all the grandparents and great uncles and great aunts are gone, and my father and my younger brother are deceased. One of my brothers are deceased. Each of my brothers had 2 children, a daughter and a son. My surviving brother's children each had children. My niece, a daughter, and my nephew, 2 daughters and a son. So all this makes me an uncle and a great uncle, to be feeling very old. 3 times I have lived with my boyfriend of the moment. So I was involved in a family of 2. In one case, a family of 3, since my boyfriend had a daughter who would stay with us on alternate weekends. Today, the most important family is my church family. The church rallied around me when I was very ill in 2012. Since then, a group of 5 or 6 or 7 have remained close to me, making my daily life possible. They provide rides to medical appointments and shopping, help with advice on various issues, and with companionship, especially on Christmas and Thanksgiving last year. The ritual of taking me out for my birthday every summer has been put on hold during COVID. The group of church family care for and look after one another. Isn't that what families are all about?
There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love.
Hello everyone, I'm Catherine, I'm 27 years old, and I am a millennial. I want you to know more about millennial families. We do have families. I have so much to tell you about my family. I grew up in Chicago with one brother, CJ, and my parents, my mom and dad. My mom was a business school professor who worked from home most of the time, and my dad was a stay-at-home dad. So I got to see them a lot and grew up with a feminist lens in the house. Now they mostly live in California, and I live on the East Coast, so we like to say that we are tri-coastal, the Pacific, the Atlantic, and Lake Michigan. One tradition from my parents is that when I was in high school, my parents started giving me and my brother some money to donate to charity every Christmas. They let us learn how to choose what we wanted to support financially, and they started us in a habit of giving generously every year. It's one of the best parts of the holidays, researching charities and planning our giving together. Now, I live in Providence with my partner Ethan, and we are engaged. We also live with my cat Mingus, who wreaks lots of havoc. And so we're in a process of merging our families and becoming a family together. And we're starting some of our own traditions. One of my favorite traditions with Ethan is the Jewish holiday Sukkot. It's a harvest festival, and we set up a PVC pipe structure in our front yard and hang up curtains that are old sheets from Savers. And we partially cover the roof with corn stalks because you're supposed to be able to see the stars and also be rained on if it happens to rain. We eat as many meals as possible out in the sukkah for 1 week, and we invite friends over and have dinner by candlelight and laugh far into the night. Because we keep the sukkah in the front yard and not the backyard like some families, we see neighbors and dog walkers and get to introduce ourselves to the people who live nearby. Ethan is Jewish and I'm UU, so together we are Jew-U. And I love learning about his traditions and choosing and building our own traditions for our new family. I hope these stories help put a face and a name to the millennials that you read about in the newspapers. We're not a shallow, disconnected generation, avocado toasting our way into debt. We have families and connections of our own and stories to share. Thank you for sharing your stories and being part of my community here at First U.
There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love. We rest in this love.
Will you join me now in our unison response in your own households and families of home and heart, so we can honor the families who shared with us this morning and all of you. The words will be on your screen, and they're also in the order of service. Ready? Thank you for sharing your family with us. We are grateful to be in community with you. Together, we bring our love to the wider world.
There are so many reasons why I love this service every year. The overarching reason, regardless of the particulars that we experience and learn each year, is that, like many ministers, I learn a lot about my people when I perform your memorial services and funerals. The rich storytelling that happens, the narrative of a life unfolding, the funny stories and tragic stories and most potent stories that get shared in preparation for the service and during the service mean that so much more is revealed and learned about a person, even sometimes people that I know very well that I thought I knew all there was to know about them already. And I always regret, every time that happens, that I didn't know this sooner, that I hadn't known this wonderful nugget of information or character, this story that continues to make me laugh or cry back when I had time to engage the person around it. And Holy Family works against that loss. Holy Family gives us the chance to know each other and about each other in these unfolding ways when we're still here to build on it and draw on it and weave ourselves more closely together because of it. It's the greatest gift, I think, that this service gives among so many other gifts. So I hope that you relish, the same way I relish, the chance to be with each other and learn about each other and connect with each other, even in a time of COVID. Nothing stops that essential work of community and care that is at the heart of this congregation. I know my gratitude for that is palpable. How handy that Catherine started off her sharing talking about the importance of giving and how much it mattered to her when she was growing up to be given the opportunity to think about how and why she gives in support of causes and initiatives that make a difference in the world. This is your chance to do that, to show your gratitude, to practice your own generosity for the life and the work of this so beloved community. Thank you. Thank you now, this week, and always for all that you give and all that you do and all that you are.
I am not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, 'cause we don't want your broken parts. I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say, no one will love you as you are. But I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send a flood, I'm gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me, look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat of drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me. Whoa. Another round of bullets hits my skin. Well, fire away, 'cause today I won't let the shame sink in. We are bursting through the barricades, reaching for the sun. We are warriors, yeah, that's what we've become. I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send a flood, I'm gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me, look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat of drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me. Whoa. Whoa. This is me. And I know that I deserve your love. There's nothing I'm not worthy of. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send a flood, I'm gonna drown them out. This is brave, this is bruised, this is who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come. Look out, 'cause here I come. Marching on, marching on. This is me. Whoa, I'm gonna send a flood. I am gonna drown it out. Yeah, this is me.
I just love the currents running through the service. Our only invitation this week is to remind you, as we did a couple weeks ago, that we have closed a rebooked invitation with David Smith, who came and led our huge choir of like 75 people 3 years ago in an amazing morning of music. We are working on a plan to collaborate with Bethel AME Church that weekend. So that is happening from April 28th through through May 1st. And the two big days you want to hold are most especially Saturday, April 30th, because that will be an all-day rehearsal for the service that happens the following morning. And I mean all day, so 9 to 5, and usually he runs late, but we don't try to hold you past then. There will be, an opportunity, of course, for lunch and fellowship, but mostly we're just going to be singing all day long, learning songs that David has arranged to support the service for the following day. It's an incredibly rich musical experience. We hope it will be even richer this year with Bethel AME together with us, and you don't want to miss it. So mark your calendars, save the time. There will probably be some rehearsing with the choir on Thursday, April 28th, and some work with musicians on Friday, April 29th, all day Saturday with all the singers, and then the culmination on Sunday morning. So we hope you'll be here for it. We hope you'll participate. I've gotten some questions about what our COVID protocols will be by then, and we don't entirely know because we don't know where COVID will be right then, but it is very likely that we will ask our singers to all test in order to come in and sing together on Saturday and Sunday. And frankly, if someone said I could sing with David Smith and all I had to do was test, I would be all over it, like white on rice. So I don't think it's a lot to ask of any of us, but we also can help people find tests or get tests if you need it. But I'm sure we will be asking our people to test, and there will be a lot of people singing here, and we'll just need to know that that's what that's going to look like this weekend. So again, you've got the dates. I hope you're thinking about participating, and I hope if you can't participate that you sure will be here for that very special experience. Now Kathy and I have our shared benediction together for you.
For the sisters of the heart, siblings of the spirit, and brothers of the soul, good parents and godparents, and families we have chosen and woven for ourselves, and the families of blood who ground and grow us, whether we like it or not.
For the families who love us even when we are crabby and unlovable, who put up with us when we are secretly amazed that they do, or call us on something that no one else will.
For the children who are part of us and all themselves, who learn from us and teach us in their learning, who bring all the freshness and promise of life to us, all, again and again.
For the love that moves within and among us, everyone, holding us, keeping us, seeing us, being us, in a way we are with no one else, wholly us. Amen.
And now we extinguish our chalice flame, but we carry the flame of peace and love and hope until we meet again.
$525,600 minutes, 525,000 moments so dear, 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year? In daylights, in sunsets, in midnights, in cups of coffee, in inches, in miles, in laughter and strife, in 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year in the life? How about love? How about love? How about love? Measuring love, seasons of love, seasons of love. 525,600 minutes, 525,000 journeys to plan, 525,600 minutes. How do you measure the life of a woman or a man? In truth that she learned or in times that he cried, in bridges he burned, or in the way that she died. It's time now to sing out that the story never ends. Let's celebrate, remember a year in the life of friends. Remember the love. Remember the love. Remember the love. Measure in love. Measure your life in love. Measure in love. Measure your life in love.